honeybees are the most important pollinators. Pollinating almost...
Hello, welcome to Switched On. Paul speaking, and going to have a look today at a new game that's out in the eShop on the 14th of November 2019, and that is Bee Simulator, and comes to us via BigBen Games. So big thanks to them for sending me a review copy to have a look at. So we've had Goat Simulator on the Switch, which takes a sort of a humorous, sandboxy, ragdoll type approach to these sort of simulation games. Bee Simulator, on the other hand, is still, it's still a fun game, but it takes a little bit more of a serious approach, and it's quite educational, really. A lot of it is based around sort of educating how bees are being wiped out, and also, I mean, just educationally what a bee does day to day. So, from that regard, I'm really impressed with some of the things that are going on here. So let's just have a quick look at the game. Let's go into my save. Been playing this for a couple of hours over the last few days. Controls take a little while to get used to. It's kind of like if you played, don't know, what would it be akin to? Something like a helicopter simulator game, I suppose. Something like that. So you've got the left stick moves you all around in direction. Right stick moves the camera, and then ZR and ZL allows you to hover up and down. Okay, so here we are in the game. It's got quite a unique look. It's got a nice sort of depth of field look to the game. So you can see like the distance stuff there is blurred out a bit. Probably partly to help performance, but also, as I say, it gives a nice visual effect as well. Lets you focus right on that bee in the foreground. So here we are at the moment. This game is set in Central Park. So at the moment we're in Central Park Zoo. We can go and harass some sea lions. There you go. You can unlock these things. When you find different things in the world, you see on the right hand side there that I've just added sea lions to my glossary. We have got a mission. We need to remember what the mission is. We need to follow the marker, that's right. So we'll follow the marker over to here. These different coloured markers, you've got this gold one here that's like the next part of the story. This pink one, there's blue ones, green ones. They give you different bits of information from different bees. These circles on the ground, these plants that are, or the flowers that are circled, you can fly through these to collect pollen. And you can see on the bottom left hand side like a pollen meter, and you can return back to the hive with all your collected pollen once full. Drop that off, become a good little worker bee. But let's go and have a look, see what our next quest is. So we've got a chase event. Catch the other bee, try not to miss the coloured rings, watch out for obstacles and power-ups along the way. There's a few of these. I think I'm going to say there's 4 or 5 different types of little mini games like this. So let's say this one's a chase one. There's also a fight, which is like a turn-based battle, which is quite interesting. There's like a dancing one where you sort of follow prompts of the other bee to do a little waggle dance, as the bees call them. So there's a few of these little mini games that you can take part in as well as sort of an open world kind of sandboxy kind of place where you get missions to go and carry out from the queen bee. But let's do this chase mission. These are actually quite hard. You need to be pretty good. The first one I tried took me a long while to clear. I actually had to, as a little tip here, if you do pick this one up, I had to turn down the sensitivity of my controller in the game because the default controls are far too sensitive, and I was all over the place. As it is, we're probably going to fail this one now because I've missed the ring inside the log. Yeah, too far from the mark track. Let's try again. If this is anything like the other race I went on, then we could be here a while. So I will skip. Okay, so eventually past that mission. It was, again, so frustrating. It's going to be really hard to recommend this game. There's a lot about it that's pretty good. But just those race missions are so unforgiving and are so frustrating that it's almost to the point of being unplayable. As I say, the first one took me an absolute age to do, and that one just then, I must have had about 20 attempts here. I'll run some in the background, perhaps picture in picture. But yeah, very, very frustrating part of the game. And you can't skip them either, so you kind of you could easily get to a choke point where you just can't beat one of these races, just partly due to the fact that the controls...
Wow, what an amazing place.
The controls aren't great, and you kind of get blown off track, which isn't really your fault. So yeah, very, very frustrating. And you know, I wish they would fix those kind of things. But let's have a look quickly at some of the other parts of the game. So we caught the bee in that race, and they gave us information to say we need to collect 5 epic pollen red flowers from the tropic zone. Now, if you right-click on the right stick, you get this like bee vision, and it gives you an indication of what flowers, what rarity of flowers. So we can see these red ones, these epic flowers. Are these ones over here that we need to collect pollen from. And the controls are a bit like... you are fighting with the controls a lot, I would say. Which is one of the problems here. So here's another epic flower. So that's 2 of the 5. I've got one over here. It's just a shame, like I said at the start, there is so much to like about this game. Both from an educational point of view, so if you've got young children, or you're just really into sort of nature, or you know you really love bees or want to learn more about them, there's a lot. They've put a lot of care into this game of giving you information and you know, making it. It's going to sound really weird, but pro bee. You know what I mean? They're like really giving you a lot of information about the conservation of bees and the dangers that mankind are doing to these creatures. As well as putting into, you know, a reasonably fun game apart from those bloody races. Right, so we collected 5 epic flowers. We've got the knowledge points, and it says earn knowledge points by collecting pollen, completing quest challenges, and feats. Spend points to unlock animal statues, 3D models, and new skins for your bee. So we're kind of finished the mission now. So we need to go back to the hive. So we just need to follow the marker. Follow the marker on screen now, the little yellow marker in front of us. Let me get back to the hive. We can hold down the R button, which allows us to get a speed boost. And you get a boost by collecting pollen. One thing, I don't know, maybe you can turn it up. I haven't actually checked, but the buzzing from the bee is very, very quiet, which is quite weird. Kind of, you'd expect it to be buzzing all the time, but maybe the volume was high in testing and people just got sick of it. I don't know. You can sting as well. If you press X, you've got like access to your stinger. You can pop balloons and stuff like that. I haven't actually tried to sting a human yet. I don't think it would go down too well. Let's collect some pollen while we're heading back to the hive. You get kind of combo bonuses for collecting the same colours. And you get a lot more sort of XP points when you drop off more pollen back to the hive. But as you can see, it's quite slow paced. The music's quite relaxing. The game's quite slow paced. As you see, you know, we're trying to get back to this hive now, but it's not, you know, it's not the fastest game. We're pootling along, getting back. Let's have a look over this horizon. If it's miles away, I'll skip to the arrival at the hive. But so we're flying over New York Central Park Zoo at the moment. And is that a hive there on that tree? I think it's just over there on that tree, actually. So we're going to the hive. Have a look around the hive. Show you that.
Oh no!
There we go.
What's
Close
happened
enough.
to our tree? The human.
Oh, sorry, I skipped the chat there. That's annoying. I hate games where you can skip the chat with an accidental press of the button. I like the sort of the modern way now where you hold down the button for a few seconds to skip it. But anyway, let's have a look inside the hive. I don't think I named the price for this game. I don't think it's $39.99, £34.99, and so it is out today on the store. It's a tricky one to recommend. Like I say, those choke points with those races are just really frustrating. If you turn your control sensitivity settings right down, you may have a chance. I find them very frustrating, but I do find the rest of the game oddly enjoyable. There seems to be lots of content, lots of stuff to do. So here we are in the trophy room. In the trophy room you can unlock animal statues, approach the podium and accept the price. Excuse me. So buy the bee statue. So here we go, lots of information about all sorts of wildlife that you can collect by flying around. If you fly close enough to different creatures in the world, you sort of get them added here to your sort of encyclopedia. We found a wasp here. We've had a few fights with wasps actually. Tricky little buggers that they are. What does it want us to do? It wants us to buy the bee statue. It's the housefly. What have we got over here? Western honeybee. Sure, that's the one they want us to unlock, surely. Because there's no others. Oh well, seems to have bugged out on that point. Edible frog. Lovely stuff. Roman snail. So I guess here you can collect all your different bits and bobs. Western honeybee. So how do we buy it? Unlock for 0 knowledge points. Do you want to buy this for 0? Yes. There we go. So you can use your knowledge points to access 3D view of some animals from the glossary. That's fine. So that's the Western honeybee. And we get a nice little 3D animation there of the bee. And there you go. It seems to be like we seem to have to complete these branches on this tree to complete the game. We've done the first one, We Are Family, and that's completed the second chapter there, Lady Flower.
That went well. I should drop off all this pollen.
And there we go. We're getting their XP points in the left-hand corner. We're going to go and drop the pollen off at the honeycomb. That empties out our pollen sacks.
We must gather a lot more before the winter. Winter's coming. Winter's coming. It's only midsummer.
Oh, you must be so young and inexperienced to talk like that. When summer ends, flowers end too. Trust me, winter is closer than you think.
So you get that kind of echoey effect. That only happens here in the hive, which I guess is quite a nice effect because you're inside a tree. I was a bit worried at first that the audio was really bad, but once you get outside the tree, that echo effect kind of goes, so that's fine. So we're tasked with now collecting more pollen, which we'll do just by flying around and getting some flowers. Here's the queen bee. I don't know if we can speak to her. Not at the moment. She is sleeping. So yeah, we just head back out now and collect more pollen from the flowers for the next mission. So I'm going to end the video there. As I say, this is a tricky one to recommend. If you like sort of simulation games, probably more into car simulators or flying simulators, but this is an animal simulator, trying to be a realistic animal simulator. As I say, unlike something like Goat Sim, which is in it for the comedy, this is very much in it for the realism, trying to act like a real bee. Lots of information, lots of sort of knowledgeable facts and tips and stuff that appear. So yeah, one for nature fans. If you're a fan of nature and bees and stuff. So there you go. That is Bee Simulator on the Nintendo Switch, and it is out today, and you can pick it up from the store. I think there's a physical version as well. If there is, I'll stick that in the description below. But yeah, if you've got any questions on this one, leave me a comment, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers guys, bye bye.